Man, since that historic high back in 2011, it has been a long, frustratingly long wait for Indian cricket fans, hasn't it? I mean, we all felt the absolute sting of that 2023 heartbreak watching an unbelievable unbeaten run come crashing down against Australia in the final. But you know what they say? The best time to start planning for the next World Cup is literally the day after the last one ends. And for every fan out there desperately waiting to see India lift that trophy again, the BCCI has quietly put a meticulous, sweeping master plan into motion to finally end this ODI World Cup drought.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the grand strategy India is employing to conquer the 2027 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. We're going to look closely at the data, the reports, and the really tough, hard decisions being made behind closed doors right now. We've got a fascinating journey ahead of us today, breaking down exactly how the Indian management is rebuilding, reshuffling, and gearing up for the ultimate battle in Africa.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We'll be breaking this down into 4 key phases. First, a new era begins. Second, the veteran dilemma. Third, fixing the middle order. And finally, the road to Africa. Let's get right into it.
Phase 1. A new era begins. Shubman Gill takes charge.
Okay, so this was the breaking news that absolutely set the cricket world on fire. The selectors made the massive, landmark decision to step away from Rohit Sharma as the ODI captain, handing the reins completely over to the young opening sensation Shubman Gill. And according to reports from The Telegraph and Times of India, this isn't just a temporary patch. It's a highly calculated move to groom Gill as India's all-format leader, with the 2027 World Cup firmly in his sights. The logic here makes total sense. You just can't juggle 3 different captains for 3 different formats when you're trying to build a cohesive long-term machine.
And what's super fascinating about Gill's first address as the new white ball leader is just how laser-focused he is. When the BCCI put out that special video giving him the role, he didn't just give the standard PR answer about the honor of it all, he immediately pointed right to the horizon. He made it crystal clear that the ultimate goal is the World Cup in South Africa. Every single match they play now, every player they test out, it's all dedicated to being fully ready to win that specific tournament.
So the new leadership core is officially taking shape, with Shubman Gill at the helm and Shreyas Iyer stepping up as his deputy. This brand new regime gets its first massive test right out of the gate, debuting in the upcoming 3-match ODI series in Australia across Sydney, Adelaide, and Melbourne. By setting up this hierarchy right now, more than 2 years out from the mega event, the BCCI is giving Gill the breathing room he desperately needs to settle into this absolute pressure cooker of a job.
Moving on to Phase 2, the veteran dilemma, managing the modern greats.
Now, the BCCI is staring down a pretty stark contrast here. On one hand, you've got former captain Rohit Sharma. Reports are showing some serious concerns from the board about his fitness. I mean, he didn't report to the Center of Excellence, he's had these reoccurring hamstring issues, and he's frequently been used as an impact sub in the IPL. But let's be real, that's a luxury that simply doesn't exist in 50-over ODI cricket, where you have to be out there fielding for the full innings. Plus, by 2027, he's going to be 40 years old. On the flip side, you have Virat Kohli, who will be 39 by the tournament, but presents a totally different physical profile. Kohli maintains elite fitness, he's still grinding it out in indoor facilities at Lord's even when he's away from India, and he has reiterated his absolute, unwavering commitment to playing in 2027.
There's a quote from a BCCI insider to the Hindustan Times that really hits the nail on the head regarding this dramatic policy shift. For years, they were the Roku duo, right? Always judged together as a pair? Well, that era is officially over. Because of this massive gulf in fitness levels, the board has put a separate judgment policy into place. They literally will no longer be evaluated in the same bracket.
Because at the end of the day, past glory guarantees nothing. The mandate from Chief Selector at G. Agrakar is incredibly strict. Whenever they are available, both of these veterans absolutely must play domestic cricket to stay sharp. That means proving their form in the Vijay Hazare Trophy starting late December. Meanwhile, the BCCI medical team is keeping a very close eye on Rohit's body to see if it can handle the intense load. And just in case, contingency plans are already activated. Yashasvi Jaiswal and Ishan Kishan are being actively groomed as backup openers. If Rohit's fitness fails, they are locked and loaded to step in alongside Gill.
All right, Phase 3, fixing the middle order, the missing puzzle piece. The numbers tell the whole story here. We are looking at a remarkable transformation. Back in the 2019 World Cup, the Indian middle order averaged a pretty dismal 35.90. It left the team completely exposed whenever the top order had a bad day. But look at the leap. An incredible average of 53 during the 2023 World Cup, and a really solid 42.21 in the recent 2025 Champions Trophy victory.
For the better part of a decade, India relied way too much on Rohit, Kohli, and Dhawan. If they got out, the whole thing kind of just crumbled. Now, the middle order finally has its own, highly effective identity.
So how do they actually fix this? 2 words, role clarity. The management completely let go of that top-order dependency and assigned specific jobs to specific players. Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul have become the absolute backbone, reliable accumulators who know exactly how to stabilize an innings. Then, further down the order, you've got Akshar Patel and Hardik Pandya playing the role of explosive finishers, coming in and just blasting from ball 1. This exact combination has finally brought consistency to those high-pressure knockout matches, just like we saw in the Champions Trophy where Akshar's spin counterattack literally saved the day.
Which brings us to our final phase, the road to Africa, the final battlefield.
To get ready for the tournament, the BCCI has reportedly been adding extra ODI matches, aiming for around 20 games, just to keep the team battle-tested. It's a grueling mix of home and away fixtures starting in mid-2026. The squad is going to face really tough series across different continents, which will all culminate in the Asia Cup in September 2027. That tournament is going to serve as the ultimate dress rehearsal right before the main event.
Now, the magic number to keep in mind here is 14. That is exactly how many teams will be fighting for the ultimate prize in October and November 2027. It's an expanded field from the 10 teams we saw in 2023, which means a much longer and much more arduous path to the trophy.
And with more teams comes a really fascinating format shift. The World Cup is going to be co-hosted by South Africa, Zimbabwe, and for the very first time, Namibia. Those 14 teams will be split into 2 groups of 7. But here is the massive nostalgic twist. The Super 6 stage is back. We haven't seen this since 2003. The top 3 teams from each group progressed to the Super 6, and adding a crazy layer of strategic complexity, a modified version of the points carried forward or PCF system from 1999 is being reintroduced. That means your group stage wins against other teams that qualify will heavily impact your standing in the Super 6. Basically, every single match matters.
So, all of this leaves us with the ultimate question. We've seen the brutal decisions regarding the captaincy, the really strict ultimatums handed down to the legends, and the data-driven fixing of the middle order. The blueprint is drawn and the grueling schedule is set, but when the dust finally settles on the African pitches in 2027, will this sweeping master plan and the bold passing of the torch to Shubman Gill finally be enough to bring the World Cup trophy back to India? That is a question only time and 20 intense ODIs can answer. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep watching the game.
Man.